My hair is longer and I don't know how to style it anymore. We'll see. Okay, the topic I want to talk about today is whether it's our responsibility to say something when we're struggling or if it's the other person's responsibility to know that we're struggling. Now, this is a slippery slope. Depends who you ask, depends on the situation. As with anything in life, it's highly, deeply relative to the situation, the people in it, everything. However, I've been harboring those feelings of neglect specifically from my friends and my relatives mostly, for quite some time now, because recently I went through a really difficult patch, a rough patch in my life. I wouldn't say it's something out of character for me. I do go through these arcs that I call kind of difficult periods. It's just essentially the times where I need more support than usual. And I think everyone's like that. I do believe most people try to handle them on their own. We're living in such an individualistic society that we definitely don't have much choice. We've been taught from an early age to handle things independently, especially in Western society where I live. It's not collectivist in any way. We don't have that collective anymore that previous generations seem to have. We pretty much after COVID learned to go through things independently on our own. And that applies to me. And I've gone through many hardships in life, but the people that have supported me the most have either been very momentary characters in the specific period of my life that I was going through something, or it was my parents. Those are the other people that have always been there for me. I come from a very healthy, loving family. Well, not fully, but my parents, at least I can say that they've done their job in supporting me more than anyone else in this world. But yeah, that's not about them. It's about friendships, right? This is a more tricky one because friendships are difficult just in general. It doesn't even have to be a rough patch for friendships to be difficult, right? However, yeah, in this specific period of my life, I was struggling a lot. Like, it was one of the most difficult moments of my life. I was going through a lot of changes. I had to drop out of university. I was in a country that I hated. I was on a life path that I didn't want to pursue. Everything just was misaligned. I wasn't aligned with myself. My life wasn't aligned with me. Nothing was working. It was one of those moments where you just feel like everything is against you, you know? And we all have those moments. That's completely normal. I got through it just fine. However, after I got out of it now, because now I'm much better, I'm doing so much better. It's actually crazy because when you're in that deep, deep hole, you never believe you're going to get out of it for some reason, but you always end up doing. Yeah, now I'm better. However, with getting better, some feelings of abandonment and resentment and neglect have risen up inside me from my friends. And now I'm wondering, like, oh, now that I'm back and I'm in good shape and I'm in good form, now all of a sudden people want to hang out with me and people are looking for me and they're acting as if nothing happened, as if I didn't just turn my life upside down in the past 6 months, as if I didn't go through such a big traumatizing event that completely changed my life and my perspective on life and everything. And now they just want to act like friends again, even though they weren't there for me in those moments. And while these feelings have some ground to them, like they are definitely something worth exploring more, you know? I don't feel guilty for having them in any way, in any sense. However, the thing is, while I was there in that period of time, while I was struggling, while I was down, I was very depressed, the only person that I was actively reaching out to while there was my mom. I can not tell you anyone else that knew of my situation. Knew of, yes. Some people knew of my situation, you know? Some people knew about what I'm going through. They knew briefly because I would say it, I would hint it, you know, I would tell them on a good day, like, yeah, it's kind of rough here, it's kind of tough, I don't know what to do, I'm kind of having a hard time right now, blah blah blah. But never outright saying, I never outright said to anyone, hi, I never picked up the phone and just went, hi, I need your help right now, I really need you to be here for me, I really need you to pull me up a bit because I feel really down, like I need your support in this moment in time because I'm struggling, truly. I never really got the guts to say that. And so they knew about my situation, but they never really truly deeply understand it. They understood it, yeah. Um, and the more I think about it, the more I think that of course it's a two-way street. Like it works both ways. First of all, they have to be a reliable enough and trusted enough friend for me to feel comfortable to reach out to them in those moments. But also, it's on me to do so, right? It's on me to have a hard time in life. And if I want support, go out and get it. Go out and reach for it. Go out and test people and see who will call back, who will not call back, who will answer, who will not answer my needs. It's again this moment of experimentation, of letting yourself be vulnerable, but also being aware that not everyone will be able to meet those things, and then just having just kind of an experimental and curious spirit within your friendships. And that's something that I couldn't do back then because, of course, when you're at your lowest and you barely have energy to, I don't know, even like get up and start your day, of course you're not gonna think, oh, I'm gonna challenge myself and just go and call the most distant, uncomfortable person that I can right now. Like, that's just counterproductive. It's not intuitive, it's not anything. So I never did that. But now the feelings of resentment that I'm feeling and the feelings of abandonment and neglect, they're still there. And I don't feel the need to talk to my friends about this because it's ultimately not really their fault. Like they didn't really do anything because I didn't give them the chance to. I didn't give them the chance to help me. I didn't give them the chance to know about this and reach out and help me and do something about it because they never knew. I kept it a really well contained secret up until I got back here and started hanging out with them again. And now, when I'm telling them about it post factum, when I'm telling them about it after everything has ended and I'm better and all that, we're able to laugh it off, but I don't feel as if it's a laughing matter. You know what I mean? And that's completely on me because I missed the opportunity to create a point of connection. Because unfortunately, when you don't give people access to your thoughts, to your emotions, to the moments you're struggling, to your most intimate, deeply flawed parts, you are not creating calls for connection. You are keeping them outside a wall. You're keeping them at one hand distance at all times. And that is essentially what I do in hard times. I'm very prone to isolation and only talking to people that are really comfortable for me. And I am aware of this. Does this make my feelings of neglect wrong in any way? I don't think so. I think that's a very normal human emotion. As I said, I'm not embarrassed to feel that way. However, just you need to think about it, right? You need to think about if you were a friend to someone and they're going through a hard time, if they never tell you about it, you might never know. You might never know. Of course, if you're highly sensitive and you're in tune and you're like one of those special people that really feel people's emotions or can guess correct and you're deeply empathetic, of course, sometimes you might know. Sometimes you might know before them, even that they're about to enter such a state. However, those are such rare occasions. This is so rare in life that we shouldn't depend on that for communication. We should take the initiative ourselves, right? If you want fulfilling friendships, you have to be okay with people disappointing you, potentially. You have to be okay with being vulnerable in moments where you don't want to be vulnerable. You have to be okay with going through rough patches and talking it out and people not showing up and giving them a chance again and then ultimately deciding whether you want to stay in their life or not. You have to be open because otherwise you're not creating any space for connection. You're not creating a call to connection. You're not giving them the opportunity to even show up. So, what I concluded in this situation is yes, it is our responsibility to let people show up for us. So, my call to you is let people show up for you. Let people give you the love that you deserve. Okay? Cheers.